What was once one of the notorious Chinese martial art is now considered rare and is struggling hard to survive.
武术对年轻人来讲是一种很积极的活动来的，因为螳螂拳很容易练，不过你要练到很精粹的话是很难。
While the popularity of other martial art increases, the number of Kung Fu practitioners decreases.
可能他们现在就是很多选择嘛，有的学什么空手道啊、跆拳道啊、什么 MMA 啊。
In fact, many people in today's modern world don't even seem to know such martial art existed.
We don't market ourselves as well as others. So my concern is that people might just forget that this kung fu exists and they just make fun of it.
Digging deeper into this topic, we must try to understand better. Why is this unique kung fu style now a dying one? Adapted from the defense system of a praying mantis, the Tang Lang Kung Fu was born. Created by Shaolin monks during the Ming Dynasty, the Mantis Kung Fu is well known for its speed and precision. Over the years, this unique fighting style has spread all around the globe, including a small state in Southeast Asia called Penang, Malaysia. Air Hitam, just 7 kilometers away from the capital city Georgetown, lays the Penang first ever Tang Lang School, 7-star Praying Mantis School, and they are struggling to preserve their beloved Kung Fu. Having a rich history of almost 4 decades, this school was once packed with Kung Fu practitioners. Yet today, the Mantis Kung Fu is considered a lost martial art in Malaysia. The question is, why? Every Friday night, the few remaining practitioners were trained here. Tonight is fewer than ever. This martial art is lacking of young practitioners. Out of 10 practitioners present, 8 are in the late 50s.
现在武术对年轻人来讲是一种很积极的活动来的，因为螳螂拳很容易练，不过你要练到很精粹的话是很难，你必须花一些时间的，一些用心，深入去追寻琢磨，你才能把螳螂拳练到很好。
Ranging from weapons like spears, halberds, and nunchucks, to over 40 basics, yet complicated moves. Mastering the Mantis Kung Fu isn't easy at all.
它每一个动作都是变化多端的。你好像这样啊，我们可以这样劈下去，我们也可以这样横扫出去，我们也可以这样搬下去，我们也可以这样戳上去。所以螳螂拳很多奥妙之处。我们练得越久，我们就感觉到螳螂拳就好像陈年老酒。你一喝就越感觉到那种香味。
With so many types of martial arts out there, the Mantis Kungfu today is struggling to gain young generation's interest.
我小时候就学了跆拳。本来以前很小的时候，我父亲聘请老师去我家里教我们跆拳。因为比起以前是少的很多嘛。以前因为可能是那个社会60、70年代的时候，社会是很少其他的活动的，可能他们现在就是很多选择嘛。有的学什么空手道啊、跆拳道啊。什么 MMA 啊，有的很多那种是那种 gym 啊，就教他们那些很简单的东西啊，他们要可能去那边学比较有兴趣。
While misconception and being skeptical towards the Mantis Kungfu is alarming, fortunately, there are still some who values it. Ernie have been training Mantis Kungfu for 10 years. Having training on Muay Thai as well, he has his own thoughts on the Mantis Kungfu.
We have seen a lot of fights where MMA people or Muay Thai practitioners, they have fight with Kung Fu practitioners. A lot of Kung Fu, they are not trained in a way to fight in the ring or in the octagon. They're not conditioned to train that way. So a lot of Kung Fu practitioners would try to fight, and because you're fighting with someone that trains MMA or Muay Thai, they're conditioned to fight in the ring. I mean, Kung Fu is not a combat sport. A lot of people would have misconception to Kung Fu. They think it's a joke. So yeah, it does affect what people think, the young generations.
While a lot of Kung Fu movies do portray Mantis Kungfu in it, over-exaggeration in these movies also brought out some of the misconceptions on the Mantis Kungfu.
A lot of people think, probably Mantis Kung Fu is probably fake because it's in a movie a lot. A lot of movies do imply a lot of Mantis Kung Fu. Like if you want to take examples like Kung Fu Panda, a lot of old Kung Fu movies, they do have they mimic Mantis movements. Kung Fu in movies are all exaggerated in a way. You can't fight 10 people at once, like in the movies. If you're in a fight, if you get to run, you just run. You don't fight. You don't stay to fight.
Lacking of exposure towards the public also makes Mantis Kungfu unknown to some. Unlike other martial arts that can market themselves in combat sports, the Mantis Kungfu has to rely on performance arts.
I would say, obviously, Muay Thai, MMA, or even boxing, they are really famous because you see a lot of fights like UFC, One Championship. They don't really use Kung Fu in a way because Kung Fu now it's more like of a performance art rather than a combat sport because Kung Fu is not a combat sport. We don't market ourselves as well as others. So, a lot of times where they try to do Mantis Kung Fu in the movies is always in a way sidelined, in my opinion. So my concern is that people might just forget that this Kung Fu exists and they just make fun of it.
螳螂拳对我们来讲，现在不单单是一种武术，不单单是一种健身的运动。我们觉得这种螳螂拳就是一种艺术，一种文化。
就是他的精神跟体育啊、身心的一起的活动，这是中国拳术的一个最大的好处，并不是说教你去打架。
I hope it gets the recognition that they deserve, because to me, every Kung Fu style is good. Every Kung Fu style has their pros and cons.
所以我们也希望我们年轻人能继续的爱好、热爱这门的武术，不要把它失传去。
While many have zero interest in learning, many also have false expectations on the Mantis Kungfu. In reality, Mantis Kungfu is not just a simple martial art. It is an art of self-defense, a way of living, a unique culture. No matter what our perception is, there's one thing for sure. The great legacy of the Mantis Kungfu must be passed down to the future generation.